And we're gonna look up under and make sure there's no puddle, which would indicate a leak. Okay? Then we're gonna make sure the truck is not leaning to either side, which would indicate a bad suspension or the load has shifted. Then you will approach the truck and make sure the general condition, everything is good. Everything is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. Then you're gonna open the hood. Usually on the hood, you gotta open it from the side. On most trucks, they got a lever on each side where you unlock the hood. All right, depending on how heavy the hood is, you take your foot, there's usually a place to set it on. Grab up here, this is where the hood usually opens. Wait on that. See how that is? Always be prepared, almost like some martial arts. Okay? These hoods can be here. Again, make sure, a lot of times you want to make sure there's a safety lock on the hood, because if it's a windy day, you up under there putting oil in there, that hood can fall back and bust you in the head. So you want to make sure there's a stick or something to hold that bad boy when you open it up. So now we're gonna start with this side over here. We're gonna start with the coolant reservoir. We're gonna say it's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. All the hoses are intact and is filled to manufacturer specification. Okay, then we're gonna look over here, see what else we got. I like to say, you see it, then you say it. So we got what we got. Usually we have the alternator over here, which is right here. You're gonna say the alternator is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. There's no there's no frayed or bare wires, and the hose, the belt has no more than 3/4 of play when pressed in the center. Okay. Then you're gonna say you got your water pump. Usually the water pump is found on the right lower half of the motor.
Don't you mention if it's gear driven or belt driven?
It can, you don't, yep, it is belt driven. Yeah. Belt driven, thank you very much. Then you have your water hose down here, which should be gear driven because it's inside the motor. It is probably more secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. All right. That's all on this side. Let's move on to the other side. All the way with this right here. Windshield washer reservoir, probably more secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and filled to manufacturer specification. All right. I'm gonna start over here. All right, we're gonna say with oil fill in our dipstick. It's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and it is filled to manufacturer specification. I'm gonna look for the air compressor. Was the air compressor on the other side on this motor? It probably was. I don't see the air compressor. Usually a square
Air compressor?
air compressor.
It was on the other side.
It was on the other side. Well, the air compressor is probably mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and it should be gear driven. Over here, you have your power steering reservoir, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. All those holes are intact, and it's filled to manufacturer specification. What else we got? We got our gearboxes, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. We got our steering shaft, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and it should be no more than
1 inch of play.
1 inch of play. Then you have your pivot arm, your drag link, your steering arm, steering knuckle, and then your tie rods. All are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. Then I got my shocks and mounts. They're properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. All right. Then I have my leaf springs, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. There's no missing, broken, or shifted leaves. Then I have my front and rear mounts and my U-bolt, all properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. Then I have my brake chamber and its hoses are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Then I have my slack adjuster and push rod, which is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken. And there should be no more than 1 inch of play when pulled on with the brakes released. Then I'm gonna stick my head in here, I'm looking, I'm gonna see the drums and lining should be properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. All right, there should be no oil or grease or debris on the drum, and it should not be dangerously thin, the lining. Then I have my tire, okay? It should be evenly worn, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken. There should be no bulges or no cuts. It should match the other side. It should be at least 4/32 of tread depth, right? Then I have my valve stem and cap. It's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. And it should be at least 100 to 110 PSI. And I can check that with a tire gauge. Then I have my lug nuts. They should be properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. There should be no missing, no oblong holes. There should be no rust trails or shiny treads, which would indicate a loose nut. Then I have my rim outside and inside should be properly mounted, secured, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken, or no illegal welds. Then I have my hub seal, which is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, damaged, or leaking, and it should be filled to manufacturer specification. Right here I have my mirror, my handle, and my door. All are properly mounted, secured, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. There's no crack on the mirror, and then the stairs should hold my weight. The door opens and closes. The weather strip is intact. My fuel tank and my fuel straps are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Fuel cap is intact. The weather seal is intact, and there's fuel in it. All right. Then I got my catwalk. Catwalk is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. It can hold my weight. All right. Then I have my exhaust system, which is probably most secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. There's no rust trails or no black soot, which would indicate a leak. I have my hoses, my air hoses, and my electrical line. All are probably most secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. The air hoses, there's no cuts or no holes in it. It's connected on both ends. My glad hand is intact. My electrical line is probably most secure. There's no bare or frayed wires sticking out of it, and it's connected on both sides. My header, pipe mount secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. There's no holes in it. It can hold the weight of the cargo. There's no missing rivets. Then I have my frame and my cross members, pipe mount secured, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. There's no illegal welds. My front and rear draft shaft is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. Everything look good. There's nothing wrapped around it. Then I got my fifth wheel. Fifth wheel is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. It is properly lubed. Then I got my fifth wheel release arm. It is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and it is in the lock position. Then I'm gonna crawl up under here and look into the capture zone of the fifth wheel. Make sure it is properly wrapped around the shank of the kingpin, and there's no gap between the fifth wheel and the apron, and it is properly lubed. Now I'm looking at the floor. The floor is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. There's no holes, and it looks like it can hold the weight of the cargo. Then I got my cross members. It's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and there's no illegal welds. I'm gonna look down in there, and I can see my brake chamber and its hoses properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Then I see my brake slack adjuster and push rod connected to it is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken, and it's no more than 1 inch of play when pulled up on with the brakes released. I see my shocks and my mounts are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or leaking. Then I see my airbags are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Then I see the drums and the lining is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. There's no oil or debris on the lining, and the lining is not dangerously thin. I see my back here, my mud flaps are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not hanging too low to the ground. Everything else look good. Now I'm gonna come on out. As I come out, I'm looking at my landing gear. It's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. It's in the fully raised position. Then I have my locking lever. It is in the locked position. Everything look good. I'm looking at the side of the trailer. It's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. There's no holes. There's no missing rivets. Electric to hold the weight of the cargo. My DOT tank is intact. Now I'm going to ask the examiner which actually would you like for me to examine back here in the rear. Before I go back, I'm going to look right here. I'm going to see the stabilizing bar is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, damaged, bent, or broken. The hoses are not hanging dangerously low. My mud flap is intact.